Hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen, I'm Sonic the Hedgehog here, and I'm back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom for the PlayStation 2, Nintendo GameCube, and Xbox specific consoles. So, last time we have managed to 100% through everything in terms of the Flying Dutchman's graveyard, despite the forms of the last video has gone pretty long enough as it is, probably because it was actually my semi-blind run-through of that specific level, mind you, specifically in this version. So as a result of that kinds of stuff though, that I do apologize for that particular video length has actually gone long enough as it is. Clearly because, as you can tell, that I've recently managed to got every single golden spatulas, as well as the forms of the 3 of those Patrick socks, which, to be honest with you, it doesn't look that much in terms of those socks we can have to collect, but either way though, that's besides the point. So today for this episode is the fact that we're about to be exploring onto, I would say, the final world, or the final main world of the game, before we move on to the final frontier of the game. And as of course we're going to be exploring around on SpongeBob's Dream, and in order to be able to actually access to it is by simply standing on that particular circle, and that way you should be able to actually instantly transport it to SpongeBob's Dream. And unlike in any other worlds for that matter, is the fact that it doesn't seem to able to give you a taxi this time around, which, that's to be expected by that point. So anyways, let's get this thing started.
With sleep comes dreams. What mischief can be found in this subaquatic somnambulant realm?
Dream bubbles? I'm surrounded by dream bubbles. I wonder what that means. Gary, what are you doing here? Wow. Oh, so I'm dreaming. Well then, first thing I'm gonna do is dream myself up a mustache. Wow. Thanks, Gary. It does make me look more rugged, doesn't it? Meow? More tasks? Well, I could use more golden spatulas, but where should I start? Meow, meow. You mean each dream bubble has a golden spatula in it? Meow! I'm ready! Meow! Yes, Gary, I'll be careful.
Alright, so let's get started with, of course, SpongeBob's Dream, and this particular world kind of reminds me of something. It always kind of reminds me of those platforming segments in Journey forms of in Super Mario Sunshine, because I say that because, as you can see, we need to go across for a lot of those obstacles, including rotating cubes, and to top it all off, we need to avoid a lot of spikes, and also if you manage to fall down to the bottomless pit below, well, you have to restart to that respawning point, depending on what checkpoints you activated. So as a result, yeah, it always reminds me of Super Mario Sunshine, except, well, obviously this doesn't usually take place in some sort of like a train outlines or anything like that, or even the actual a technology kind of world or something. I know it has been a couple of days since I actually managed to replay through a bit on Super Mario Sunshine after all, but either way though, and as you can tell, this might actually be the final time we're going to be able to be spending on those, if you couldn't tell by the forms of the intro cutscene alone, that, well, specifically for this world in particular, this is the final world so that we can able to actually just to go ahead and spend on those shiny objects with, because as a result, if we basically done with the forms of, you know, trying to spend on those shiny objects, apart from the fact that there was actually that one particular segment which I'm about to be doing at some point and during on this next Tuesday, if you will, because as a result we still need to able to actually spend on the shiny objects to able to not only just trying to grab the remaining of those golden spatulas from Mr. Krabs, but also the final thing that we're about to be getting, assuming we're able to try to spend on, you know, 40,000 of those shiny objects as close as possible. So as a result, but I'll show you the actual, the useful hints until when it gets to the point until nearly at the end of this playthrough. So, but either way though, let's get this thing to it. And this might actually be considered this to be one of the hardest worlds in the game, just because there was actually that one annoying mission that most people seem to always have trouble with. Well, assuming if they're able to actually first time playing for this, and it doesn't matter if it's in the original game or a remake for that matter, and that I probably should able to discuss on that later, because for now, we simply need to concentrate on not only for the trickiest platforming segments from time to time, but I think I get the feeling that we might able to come across into the first ever mission for the sake of this world. And that, if you're able to utilize the bubble ball ability from here, and we need to carefully guide the beach ball right where the actual golden spatula is. So as a result of that kind of stuff though, you need to be fast on this part, because if you do not make it in nick of time, then you're probably gonna let the actual beach ball just manage to fall down to the bottomless pit below, and as a result, you won't be able to get yourselves a golden spatula. But thankfully, you can able to do this multiple times if you keep failing and stuff like that. So as a result of that kinds of stuff though, you have to step onto the actual beach ball, and that way you would be able to actually just get yourselves the first golden spatula. So either way, let's go ahead and continue. Now, there are some different segments in Journey Forms within SpongeBob's Dream, as you can see. In Journey Forms of the intro cinematic scene, and that is the fact that we actually come across into not one, not two, not three, but 4 other dreams as well. So as a result, we usually start things off normally at the actual Pineapple House, which actually represents SpongeBob's house, of course. And later on, whenever you continue proceeding to this world, specifically, if we go all the way down to that particular slide right there, in fact, this might actually be the final world to able to feature multiple slides and stuff like that. Well, so it wasn't until whenever we get onto the Sandy's Dream portion that you might able to see tons of slides, which as a result, we'll talk more about it until whenever we get this thing to it. So yeah, it always kind of reminds me of the whoa, jeez, take it easy, SpongeBob. Oh my god, I almost gotta get myself a little bit screwed over, especially with that slippery momentum side of things. But anyways, let's go ahead and activate the checkpoints, and we need to spend about 1,000 of this shiny objects before you're able to continue. And this is mandatory, by the way, if you really want to collect those remaining golden spatulas. Whilst we still got enough to able to actually get into the final portion of the game, specifically whenever we're able to actually just to stop the actual obey of robots, as far as I'm most likely concerned with. But either way though, we'll talk more about it until later, because for now, let's just see how we can get even more shiny objects before we continue. So even then though, it's going to be a lot of emphasis on the forms of collecting a whole bunch of those shiny objects for the majority of this world. So anyways, let's go and explore through Sandy's Dream. And for my recognition is the fact that this is obviously based off from, well, Texas, of course, because as you can see from the actual environment, as you can see, as well as some tons of slides to able to come across into.
Wow, your dream is massive!
Everything in Texas is big, even dreams.
Then you're just the right person to reach the spatula on top of that golden acorn.
My dream, my rules. I'll get that spatula faster than a Texas jackrabbit crossing a 4-lane highway.
And yes, as you can see on screen, just like it wants how it does it in Flying Dutchman's Graveyard, the only 2 playable characters you can only just seem to use in this particular world, which there are SpongeBob and Sandy, of course. The only character exception is, of course, Patrick, because we'll get some more details onto that whenever we continue proceeding for the forms of this particular world. So yeah, as you can see right from the start though, is the fact that I said this before, this is the final time we're going to be experiencing these slide segments in this game. So as a result of that kinds of stuff though, is the fact that all we need to do around here is the fact that we can do all sorts of things. Like basically you can go through alternative pathways, although there's actually that particular shiny objects spending on that particular clamshell as you saw from that intro sequence of this particular dream sequence. But unfortunately I don't think I actually got enough of these at the moment. But don't worry, we'll be back for this until at some point later down the road, specifically on next Tuesday or something, because either way, oh yeah, speaking of which actually, it's the fact that today's day is of course, I want to say today is the 20th of August today, in this case in 2020, so I want to let you guys know about the fact that why the actual the schedule time day. I don't know what I usually explain about this because again, it has been quite a few days since I actually just managed to discuss upon things. But let's just say this right now, that this Let's Play will be finished and during at some point by the end of August and during at some form or another, along with any other Let's Plays for that matter too, before we get started with other continuation Let's Plays, including Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, essentially, because I know you guys may actually be super looking forward to it, especially noticeable how the fact that it's been almost about a year since I actually come back into that particular game itself. And also same applies to Piglet's needs to get back into, well, Yoshi's Crafted World, and hopefully you're able to finish that particular game by the time Buddy forms of, well, the summer is about to be finished and over with. So yeah, as a result of that kind of stuff though, still rough around the edges and during forms of the summer season. Well, in terms of this year, especially noticeable, I'm still felt incredibly bad for missing out on a lot of events, specifically the actual Tokyo 2020 Olympics in Japan, and that's as far as I can usually think about that. So yeah, let's hop onto here and grab another underwear after getting hit multiple times by, you know, those pies that those cows might able to actually toss it at me. I'm guessing it's probably because the reason why they always tend to do that at me, clearly because I just think that, well, they just deserve my payback after saying harsh things about Home on the Range, which, if you ever seen that movie before, that movie sucks. Which, even I know, that's just my opinion. Because I do prefer any other Disney films out there, like Hercules, Tarzan, The Lion King especially, I always adore those, and all the other jazz basically, including Aladdin and everything, so... Anyway, so let's go ahead and just bypass for this part, and seemingly to say that we almost there towards that the actual, the acorn section, so... It might not be so bad though, especially noticeable that again, if you use Sandy, this makes things really easy for you, especially noticeable if you're able... What the heck? How did that hit me? I'm guessing I just usually say that from before, like, and that's what I get for saying things bad about Home on the Range then. Or something like that, I don't know. It has been such a long while since I actually did manage to notice for this fact, but anyway. So basically in this next golden spatula, as you can see right there, basically all we need to do is just basically we need to make our way to this giant acorn, and that's pretty much about it. So even then though, self-explanatory right there. So, but either way though, I definitely know there are some other things I would like to do, but then again, I don't think I actually got enough of those shiny objects, as you can see. So, for the time being, I think I should probably, just to say this right now, that since, don't worry though, until when it gets to the point until later on throughout the whole world, that I will still able to try to actually grind, or in this case, grinding for some more of those shiny objects as much as possible right here. So as a result of that kinds of stuff though, we'll talk more about it until later, so... Anyway, I don't think that SpongeBob can able to actually deal with that particular segment, even for the slide segment as a result of this matter, because he doesn't seem to able to actually make your way to this particular segments like these. So only Sandy, she's the only one, she can able to actually do a lot of work. So, and as you can tell for that particular clamshell that we've already saw, that it does manage to require you to pay, let's just say, 2,800 of those shiny objects. And I said this before already, I don't think we actually got enough of these at the moment. But as I said before, whenever we move on to the next part, to join at some point in next Tuesday or something, that way we would be able to actually get collect the most insane amount of those shiny objects as much as possible, and that way we would be able to actually just accomplish that particular segment. So, something's worth bringing things up. So even then though, let's just go ahead and continue, and we need to be very careful of this particular dump kind of thing right away. Because I swear to God, I seem to have found this a little bit difficult to able to jump over for this particular the garbage truck dump, because as a result, that I did manage to normally double jump from there, but as a result of that kind of stuff, that's all I can really say about this for the most part. So, yeah, we do need to able to, still need to collect the insane amount of those shiny objects, as you see right here, so... Yeah, this might take a while though, especially noticeable how the fact that, well, we usually, there's also, like, I don't know. It has been such a quite few days since I actually discussed upon any other tips and tricks I'd like to able to point things out for the sake of time, but I digress. So anyway, let's just go ahead and collect some of them for the time being. But I do notice is the fact that there might be a Patrick sock around here somewhere. And, wait. Hold on. Let me just, I have no idea why I just did that. But either way though, because again, a semi-blind run through, so I must admit though for this point guys, I do apologize for that, so. Anywho, I suppose another thing I should probably explain about this too, is that, oh, what the? Okay, that does feel a little bit odd around here, especially I just managed to able to jump over for that particular segment there, and as a result, it forces me to able to just get dragged over. So, but either way though, I might try to wander around for the sake of the forms of this place from now on until when some things will happen. So either way though, we'll definitely see what happens there. In fact, talking of which actually, I think we should probably go ahead and leave this area from now on. Although, again, as I said before, don't worry, I'll be back for this particular dream sequence until whenever we get the most insane amount of those shiny objects as much as possible, including some different parts during the forms within the entire segments for the sake of the forms of this entire world. So, yeah, that's how it usually goes basically, so, yeah, that's all I can really think about it. I do apologize with the actual, oops. Yeah, anyway, I apologize for that particular lack of commentary for the sake of time. This is clearly because there's not much else I can talk about, so even then, I must admit that I apologize for that. So anyway, let's continue, and we need to be very careful around here. Especially noticeable how, I think the next objective in this is the fact that we need to do a super bounce. And what do I mean by that? We need to get on top of Squidward's house, and that way you should get ourselves another golden spatula. So, now we got about 87 of those things for now on, and we should probably go ahead and... Why is my camera control doesn't seem to work with me half the time, but hey, at least we got it working again. So anyways, let's spend another 1,000 shiny objects from there, so that way we can able to continue proceeding and able to create another few set of those platforms, as you can see right there. Completely filled with spikes, by the way, if they manage to able to turn those things around, and it might not be so bad if you manage to able to utilize the double jump or anything like that, so yeah, that's how it goes basically. So anyways, let's kick this robot down, and there it goes, and then that way we can get ourselves another few sets of those shiny objects, including those tiki platforms, despite I accidentally fall off. But that's okay though, because we've already got ourselves some more shiny objects from there. So either way though, all the kind of thing about it, we can able to spend another 1,000 of these things. So I think we'll save that for later, because as a result of that kinds of stuff though, on the other hand, is the fact that, is it possible that, I can't go backtrack, because otherwise, the actual platforms where I start to able to tilt it a little bit, or just turn, so... Oh god, this dream. I can't stress enough about that particular dream. Oh jeez.
Squidward, this is amazing.
Amazingly awful, you mean?
Mr. Krabs is dreaming of the Krusty Krab.
What a surprise. I can't escape work anywhere.
Whoa! Lunch rush! I better grab my hat and...
Forget the hat. Get that spatula and get us out of here.
It's like a shiny golden toothpick that holds together the bun of...
We don't have time for this.
Alright, here we go then into perhaps is one of the most difficult missions in the whole entire game. Why I say that is because I usually watched some Call Me Johnny's review of this particular game, and as a result he did point things out about the fact that he really despised Mr. Krabs' Dream, which as a result, as you can see, we are once again dealing with the forms of the enemy rush kind of scenario. And as a result of that kinds of stuff, this will actually be the final time we're going to be doing this, by the way. So as a result of that specific matter, in order able to actually... What the heck? Okay, that seems a little bit weird. So anyway, so let's try this again. And, yeah, this particular area, in this case Mr. Krabs' Dream, is by far the most difficult, and it's also kind of frustrating mission throughout the whole game. Because as you can see, we do need to not only try to defeat the most insane amount of enemies as you could, but also you need to keep an eyes open with that duplication 3000 machines. Because every time you interview to manage to able to defeat all these repeated enemies, as you can see right there, and that way, every time you kill one of the enemies from earlier from this point, well, the only thing about this though is the fact that these enemies will eventually respawn if you don't manage to able to deal with the duplication 3000 all the time. So as a result, easily one of the hardest missions in the game. Because you want to know why? There are a few things most likely. One, there are a whole bunch of enemies that are about to be able to eventually respawn every time whenever you kill them without dealing with the actual duplication 3000 contraption. Two, the actual arena itself might be a little bit too big, but as a result of that kind of stuff though, is the fact that since there are overall too many enemies on screen, so regardless of such though, you're gonna get wrecked a lot for the sake of the forms of the entirety of this battle arena. And thirdly, did I say thirdly? Yeah, I must have think so. Four, the fact of the matter is though, is the fact that every time you're able to get hit, you know, as I established out earlier, you are far lacking with invincibility frames, and as a result, you really have to able to actually just to deal with the forms of dual die situations like these did. And as a result, that if you get hit, well, again, you are far lacking with invincibility frames. 5, Jesus Christ, how can I even describe about the forms of the first enemies that we've ever encountered? Well, at least one of the first enemies introduced in this game, which appears to be, you know what that particular electrical rod thing that we've already come across into since Jellyfish Fields? I swear to God, I was gonna able to hit him at the right time, but chances are I keep on getting wrecked by him a lot. Especially it doesn't help about the fact that you get yourselves a ginormous knockback every time you get hit. Speaking of the actual knockback, 6, if you somehow get close to the edge, and then as a result, if you think you're about to be safe from the edges of the forms of certain parts throughout the whole entire battle enemy endurance run, and as a result you get a knockback, and as a result you have to restart the entire thing all over again. And 7 is the fact that you would expect that you would able to actually deal with those particular, you know, with those enemies right there, as you can see on screen, I'm actually trying to deal with them. And as a result for that kinds of stuff though, is the fact that, well, relatively speaking, that, you know, sometimes it might take a while to able to deal with him, because if you somehow wait long enough, as I said before, since in Tuesday, that if you manage to leave him for a very long time, you're able to actually create a shield up again. And 8 is the fact that I really despise these enemies when you have to deal with those 3 robotic inflatable enemies. That's because, geez, the fire breath attack is so disgustingly big. Even for the actual hitbox collision detection, what I just managed to found out. Although it's nothing to do with the actual collision detection, but it's just that the hit detection is like so goddamn big if you manage to get hit by that stupid flamethrower, or in this case for that fire breathing attack. And finally, perhaps, well, for my personal gripe, I was gonna able to actually do this within the first attempt. Like, imagine if I managed to able to do this in a remake version of this game on the PlayStation 4. I was missing by one enemy to deal with whenever I was trying to able to deal with that particular mission. And as a result, keep on getting wrecked all the time, keep on dying multiple times, and it's just a lot of trial and error, like as you can definitely tell from this specific factor. However though, there are some good things about this in order to make things a little bit easier for yourself, and that was the fact that if you manage to step onto the forms of that hidden platform underneath it, that way you will be safe from now on, but it doesn't excuse the fact that, well, you have to able to destroy all the duplication machines in order to able to complete this mission. And as a result, that way you don't need to worry about the forms of enemy respawning points. And also, kind of thing about it is the fact that there's also a Krabby Patty Bun platform you can able to actually use to be safe on. So at least that might be a good thing if you really want to try to deal with this mission, like super annoying and frustration at the same time. How the hell did he manage to still survive for that? Oh, wait a minute, he's got his shield. Or maybe it's probably because of duplication machines or something? But either way though, let's just finish him off from here. And I think, fundamentally speaking, we've only got about a few more enemies left. So hopefully, once we're done with this particular dream, although the actual aesthetics does look really cool, especially noticeable how the fact that Mr. Krabs' dream is always inspired by, you know, cash and money. Clearly because of how the fact that, well, they just want to able to actually just, well, keep a lot of money. So yeah, that's all I can really think of. Son of a biscuit! God dang it. You see what I mean right there. Sometimes that's, you know, you always get cornered by them. And if I were you, do not recommend if you're able to actually, trying to get close to them. Because as a result, if you get close to them while at the same time, one of those robots are about to kick your butt. So, yeah, you can able to actually die a lot for the sake of this mission. And I will still say, this is by far one of the most difficult missions in the whole game. Which, I would say that be also the same applies to those, some several time challenges, specifically the ones in Kelp Forest, essentially, because you have to deal with a lot of sharp curves that you have to able to try to deal with. And, also same applies to, well, I would say, I don't know actually, because I know for the fact that, well, it has been quite a few while since I actually come back into this version, because I'm so used to with the remake at this point. So yeah, because as a result of that kinds of stuff though, yeah, that's what I can really think about it. So yeah, as I said, do not try to deal with those enemies normally, because otherwise the duplication machine will able to let them respawn every time when you kill them, so... Now, I suppose another good thing about this mission though is the fact that this will be pretty good if you're trying to able to grind, you know, some more shiny objects to begin with, because as a result, every time you kill those enemies, then basically you would be able to actually grab the most insane amount of shiny objects as much as possible, so that way you can able to actually just, well, be fine for the most part, especially noticeable how some stipulations like those, and stuff like that for that specific, you know, stipulations as far as you know. So anyways, for Mr. Krabs' Dream, visually aesthetic wise, is the fact that it has tons of coins, tons of like money cash, because obviously ever since in the show, basically he always loves money, especially noticeable he wants to keep them for like some sort of like a treasury kind of segments worth noting for. So yeah, I just want to classify that. One thing I should probably mention is the fact that you remember the forms of that since we already taken down the Jellyfish King, ever since in the Jellyfish Fields, he's obviously made his first appearance in, I would say, a Stranger fanfiction or something like that, which, that particular, episode involves around, Karen as in the forms of one of those. It's hard to explain about that sometimes, because even then, though, it has been, you know, such a long time since I've actually seen the previous seasons of the SpongeBob SquarePants TV series, because as a result, yeah, it still goes really well, especially noticeable with some parts worth noting for, even especially noticeable when how, you know, the actual, the thing itself is managed to go super well. Well, despite the middle portion of the entire TV show is actually gone in a rough bottom, just because of how the fact that usually it has some stupid character developing issues, as well as the most disappointing 10-year anniversary, which is of course, you know, just anything else for that besides, basically. So yeah, let's talk about the forms of how the fact that what this world inspires by with, you know, SpongeBob's Dream World. Basically, if you remember the episode called Sleepy Time, that is usually... What the heck? How dare you? How dare you give me a knockback? Yeah, you see that right there? If you pretty much gonna be... If you think you're gonna be safe for one of those type platforms and such in order to able to make yourself a little bit safer, regardless of the forms of trying to get yourselves wrecked by any like enemy encounters or anything else for that besides, including the forms of the actual projectiles, then you never know of how the fact that you're going to be safe, especially noticeable in some dangerous situations where that if you think you're going to be safe, but most of the time you aren't. So either way though, we'll just try this again. So anyways, with the Sleepy Time episode is obviously in Season 1 after all, which usually came out, or in this case that episode was after karate choppers, and right before Suds, which even then, if you want to know what these episodes are, Karate Chops is basically, it's like, you know, SpongeBob and Sandy play karate, while Mr. Krabs were able to actually just, feeling cross about when SpongeBob just managed to able to play karate all the time in Journey Forms of the Krusty Krab restaurant, and then he'll force SpongeBob to go, "You're fired," but then as a result, he'll give him a second chance whenever he, like, I don't know, it's hard to explain about it sometimes. But I did see the episode though, but I haven't really watched the whole way through with it though, just because, unfortunately, for those of you watching those kind of episodes on YouTube, sometimes they always get blocked by copyright strikes, which I have no idea why they just always do that. But anywho, yeah, as far as sleepy time, SpongeBob, in this case a dreamy version of SpongeBob himself, managed to go through those different dreams. It always kind of reminds me of something related to Mario and Luigi Dream Team Brothers, except, well, Mario, he's the only one he can able to traverse through Luigi's dream portal. And as a result of that kinds of stuff, that, you know, SpongeBob managed to traverse through multiple dreams based off from his friends, including the villains themselves. Well, to be more specifically, Plankton, he's the only one who was the villain, after all, in the entirety of the TV show, obviously. So basically, he managed to traverse through Gary's dream, and also Patrick's dream, Squidward's dream, and also Sandy's dream, and even Pearl's dream. Despite Pearl's dream might not be included in this game, this is clearly because of how the fact that we could— No! Go,
SpongeBob. It's your birthday.
I was off by one enemy left before I able to actually conclude this particular monstrosity mission. Anyway, unfortunately speaking, it's the fact that the only dreams we might not gonna come across into in this game, which there are obviously, well, Gary's dream, and also Pearl's dream, and even Plankton's dream. But unlike in the ones in the Sleepy Time episode in the TV series, that I said this before, he actually traversed through not only his dream to start with, like, you know, whenever he just managed to get himself his driver's license, but Mrs. Puff teared it up, and also Gary's dream for the librarian, and Patrick's dream is all about the rocking horse or seahorse kind of riding contraption thing, which I'll talk more about it later. And also in Squidward's dream is all about doing a concert, and Sandy's dream is all about, like, see if we can able to land on the target, and while doing a skydiving segment. And in Pearl's dream, it's basically like let's just say having a nice cool out tea party and stuff, while she was able to actually sit around with her plushies or something. And Mr. Krabs' dream might take place in a sudden seas, while simply able to try to grab a moving money ticket or the actual the money note, but then chances are they ultimately failed the actual plan because he managed the money notes got away. And the final dream is the fact that it's all about Plankton just trying to able to do a world domination in the actual Bikini Bottom town, like, you know, some sort of a destruction, so. And after that, I'm pretty sure SpongeBob did manage to go back into his own dream once again, except in a different dream kind of sequence. Like, the only difference is now, basically he just now got surrounded by the multiple friends' heads, which even then though, it does feel a little bit scary at first, but either way though, I don't necessarily find that scary to be honest, but either way, let's just go ahead and, is that all? Yes! God damn it, that mission is over. God, you have no idea, folks. You have no idea how this mission usually just managed to took me or something, which I'm also able to look it up to see how many minutes that I usually wasted for the forms of that particular mission itself, but let's not get ahead of ourselves at this point, because let me tell you right for this point though, let's go ahead and leave this train, because let me tell you, it is still one of the hardest missions in the whole game. I'm gonna tell you that right now. But anyways, we're not exactly done yet, because otherwise, after dealing with a whole bunch of platforming segments from time to time, and but first, before we do anything, let's grab the checkpoint in case if we're about to die or not. But yeah, basically after bypassing those rotating series of cubes, as you can see right there, and oh jeez, I wasn't expecting that. But luckily we got a checkpoint right there, so that's good, because otherwise, if we don't grab the checkpoints, then it'll give me a lot of, you know, trial and error situations like so. So either way, let's just... Otherwise, we could able to actually get, take a hit, and then just, like, you know, just do all that. And there we go, we've now reached to Patrick's Dream, so let's see if Patrick's Dream might able to contain. Really?
Patrick, you have a golden spatula. Give it here.
Not so fast, SpongeBob. You'll have to pass my test before you get this golden spatula.
Very well, sir. Challenge accepted.
Very well. Your challenge is to find the golden spatula!
You're holding it.
You did it! Now here is your reward.
And this is by far one of the most easiest mission in the game, because not only do you able to actually slowly approach to Patrick, but also, after when you speak to him, then it just somehow gives you a golden spatula super easily. And his dream is obviously, well, nothing else besides just, you know, the actual flash of light while he was in the darkest room, which I first thought it was gonna be like a rocking horsey kind of like, you know, with the actual cash point, whenever you're trying to able to insert the coin to write the thing multiple times. Well, I first thought they're gonna do that, but obviously, unlike in Sleepy Time episode, that it does manage to evolve around from there when he says like, "Shoot, that was my last corner." Which, either way though, after that, then obviously SpongeBob pretty much moves on to the different dream, which is of course Squidward's dream. So, even then, if you want to know about that particular episode, then you guys should know. So, either way, I guess, fundamentally speaking, since after all we got a whole bunch of shiny objects, as you can tell, so I'm afraid to tell you for this point, folks, I think we're gonna have to end things up here. So join me next time, and let's play SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom. It's the fact that we are about to be able to, hopefully, 100% for almost everything in SpongeBob's Dream World. So I'll see you guys until, likely, on next Tuesday. So yeah, later fellas.